post. I just woke up and I was scrolling through my Twitter feed and checking my notifications and stuff, and I found this really cool article. And I didn't really feel like getting up and getting on the computer and doing all that, but I figured I'd try my wife's Mobizen app here, and this little webcam works where it makes my head look really fat. but yeah, this notification came up, and it's a story from Southfront. You can see it right here past my fat head. I'll put it over here to the side so it doesn't bother you. But Southfront puts out a lot of military conflict information, and they've been around for a while. And if you've ever checked them out, they've got really great stuff. If you hadn't checked out Southfront, I suggest you go to Twitter and follow it. And I think they got a YouTube page too, and they do a lot of breakdowns of what's going on with the different military situations. And it says 5 seconds until World War III. So here, I'll open it up and read it for you. Pretty interesting stuff. And this is their website, 5 seconds until World War III. On March 13th, U.S. President Trump ousted his Secretary of State, Rex W. Tillerson, and announced he would replace Mr. Tillerson with Mike Pompeo, the CIA director. At the CIA, Pompeo will be replaced by the current director, Gina Haspel. And there's a tweet where Donald Trump said something about, Mike Pompeo, director of the CIA, will become our new Secretary of State. He would do a fantastic job. Thank you to Rex Tillerson for his service. Gina Haspel will become the new director of the CIA and the first woman so chosen. Congratulations to all. So they gave him a little bit of trash talk on that, because they said he fired Tillerson over Twitter. He was on Twitter and he fired that was the announcement, that he fired Rex Tillerson. But anyway, that's not the meat of this report here. It goes on to say, Trump said we will continue our program of restoring America's standing in the world, strengthening our alliances, confronting our adversaries, and seeking the denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula. The new appointment came 2 days after the U.S. ambassador to the UN, Nikki Haley, had threatened that the U.S. will strike Syrian forces if they continue their operation against militants in Damascus suburb of eastern Ghouta, considering that Russia has servicemen involved in helping government forces and providing a humanitarian aid to civilians in the area. This threat was also addressed to Moscow. So, just to pause for a second and try to explain what I've learned and understand from this. There's been a lot of talk that Tillerson, which just got fired over Twitter, was constantly at odds with Trump and trying to make peace in a lot of situations, and trying to work things out where Trump potentially didn't want to be so peaceful with things. And whenever they've got the Republicans out there that want war, they call it a hawk. So war hawk. So they're saying that this CIA guy Pompeo is going to be more of a war hawk. And there's been talks for a while, and it's just maybe rumor, I'm not sure, but they're talking about getting rid of McMaster too, and replacing him with John Bolton. And I've talked about him in a past video, and he's an older guy that comes on Fox News a lot, and he's a war hawk. So the talk about getting rid of these guys, which we know Trump will fire somebody in a heartbeat, and replacing them with more war-prone, war hawk guys, shows a lot that we're preparing for a war probably. So that was significant. They made a significant point with that, and now they're showing that Nikki Haley is our representative to the United Nations, and she's up there and she's pushing real hard against Syria. And the trouble with Syria and doing whatever we want with Syria is you're going to run in contact with Russia, and you're going to have troubles with Russia. So they're saying at the end of that little paragraph there that was also addressed to Moscow, which is Russia. Head of the Russian General Staff, Valery, I don't even know how to say that, commented on this threat, saying that Russian forces will take retaliatory actions against any missiles or launches posing a threat to the service members. According to reports, after the false flag attack, the U.S. plans to accuse the Syrian government troops of using chemical weapons and to provide the world community with the so-called evidence of the alleged mass death of civilians at the hands of the Syrian government and Russia supporting it, he said. Then, according to, like I said, I can't say that name, Gerasimov, it's a Russian name. The U.S. plans to launch a missile strike on the government-held districts of Damascus. So, just to kind of put that in plain language a little bit, they're saying that the Russians are accusing us of setting up to stage for a false flag of a chemical attack and blame it on Assad and Russia, so that we can go in there and attack Damascus, blame it because they did a chemical attack and have means to take out Damascus. And I have personally, just to get on the more spiritual side, I've asked God before, God, who's going to take out Damascus? And, I can't say for sure that I heard God or not, but I heard a voice tell me that it would be America. And here's a report from South Front here. And they're talking about, Russia's talking about, and they've been talking about this for a little while. South Front's just putting 1+1 here in this report for you. And it really, brings it all home for you to see it all together on your plate there. And they're saying that we're going to possibly do a false flag, stage a chemical attack, and then blame it on Syria and Russia. Russia's been saying this for a while now. And I don't put it past our government, and then that would give us means to go in there and take Damascus out, and that would fulfill what? Isaiah 17. For my Christian friends, I hope you've read Isaiah 17, and it's a pretty common prophecy that most people know by now. That would take out Damascus. I keep reading here. The chief of the general staff continued to say that the militants are already preparing to falsify a government chemical attack. So they're saying they've got some, some Arab militant jihadis out there that's going to set this up and make it look like Assad did it and blame Russia because they're in charge of Assad and taking care of that situation. We have reliable information about militants preparing to falsify a government chemical attack against civilians in several districts of the eastern Ghouta, as a crowd was assembled with women, children, and old people brought from former other regions who were to represent the victims of the chemical incident. So they're saying not only do they got people set up to do a chemical attack so that it can be blamed on Assad, but they're bringing forth fake victims too. So false flag attack against Assad, or to blame Assad for chemical weapons for means to go in and attack. That's what Russia's saying. That's the big fear that's going to happen, and we've had a lot of talks recently in the past few days about the situation in East Ghouta that they're talking about, which is near Damascus, and they're cleaning out one of the last pockets that they got left of rebels. But just to keep on point here, a new round of escalation in Syria is developing just a few days ahead of Russia's presidential election scheduled on March 18th. So this is the focus of this report from South Front. They're saying that the Russian elections are coming up soon, and that we're going to try to take advantage of the timing right here, because they're having these elections, they fear, the talk is that we're going to stage this attack in Damascus, and attack Damascus. And it goes on to talk about Ukraine, which I'm no expert in Ukraine. I don't really follow Ukraine closely. You have to look into that for yourself. Find some other people that are following the Ukraine crisis more closely. But the 1+1 that they're putting together in this report is that the talk is that we're going to push not only in the Syrian front but on the Ukrainian front at the same time. And this is both places we have conflict with Russia, while they're getting ready for these presidential elections and possibly bring us into a major conflict with Russia. So I'll continue to read the rest of it. But you get the idea now of what this report really is talking about. So meanwhile, reports have appeared that the Ukrainian military is actively preparing for offensive actions against the forces of the Donetsk People's Republic, DPR, and the Lugansk People's Republic in the eastern part of the country. Local sources also indicate that the Ukrainian government is planning staged provocations. So they're saying, provoke them, stage provoke. Is this are they saying another false flag to start something over here? On a contact line between its military forces of the DPR, not DPRK, that's Republic. North Korea. DPR, this is, like I said, I'm no expert on Ukraine, and the LPR. According to reports, a military escalation as well as provocations on the contact line may take place in eastern Ukraine in the coming week. It's possible that the escalation scenario in both Syria and Ukraine may be implemented by the U.S. establishment soon after or during the presidential election in Russia. The goal of these actions will be to stage an aggressive war against Russia. So that's the whole of it. And, you know, the meat, let's see if I think it'll let me highlight. The meat of everything said is in this last little paragraph. And let me read it one more time. It's possible that an escalation scenario in both Syria and Ukraine, both places where we have, interaction with Russians, may be implemented by the U.S. establishment soon after or during the presidential election in Russia. The goal of these actions will be to stage an aggressive war against Russia. So this isn't me making this stuff up. This isn't Watchmen just telling you random headlines, which, you know, I find the best source of information I can. But this is South Front, and a lot of people follow South Front. This isn't some bigwig establishment, Fox News or CNN. They take donations. You can see at the top here, you can donate. So it's a private sort of situation with South Front. They take up a collection and pay the people that work for them, and it's a more private group. So that's showing you a different perspective on information. So it's not so much big corporations telling you what they want and pushing a message that comes from the Pentagon or something. These are guys reading the news for themselves, following information, gathering information, and they work off donations. So, like I said, South Front's a very interesting outlet of information, an agency or what have you. And I'm not sure if it's an NPO non-profit organization or not, but like I said, it's a private deal there. So sorry if I look a little rough. I just woke up and I found that, and I found it really interesting, and I thought, man, I gotta share that. So I read it to you, and like I said, he's firing Rex Tillerson, and the talk, all the things that I've read recently, all the tweets and everybody's talk is that the reason he's getting rid of Tillerson is because Tillerson doesn't want to engage in these conflicts and push these conflicts. And everybody, whether you love him or hate him, everybody knows Trump's a big bully. He's out here bullying these people, and his idea is to put a whole lot of pressure on you and force you to submit to his will, which seems to work sometimes. But so he wants to engage in these situations and put pressure on it and make everybody else bend. And the talk has been that not only Tillerson but McMaster, they've been saying, we need to work things out and work with them and engage in peaceful situations. And there's been a lot of talk that these guys haven't gotten along with Trump for a while now. And this is evidence that those rumors were possibly true by firing Rex now and replacing him with a guy that they're saying is a war hawk. Pompeo's a war hawk. They said, just to give you a little bit of idea of something I've just recently glanced at, I've not looked into deeply. Look into it for yourself. But I seen a report saying that Pompeo's into is one of these guys that supports torture. So he's a war hawk. He supports torture of prisoners and stuff. Whether you into that or not, it gives you an idea of what kind of person he's taking out and what kind of person he's replacing and putting in. And like I said, there's talks that he's going to get rid of McMaster at some point and replace him with Bolton. And Bolton's all about some war. So, like I said, and they're this isn't just South Report saying this stuff about the staged chemical attack. The Russians have been saying this, and I've seen lots of reports on this. It's just that I found this article very interesting because they throw it all together and show you that not only is there a possible false flag chemical attack going to happen in Damascus or involving Assad soon, but they're also saying there's tensions on the Ukrainian front, talks of that escalating very soon as well. So I found this very interesting. Does this mean that the war situation is going to kick off and escalate, and that is this a sign that Jesus is coming soon? These are the things that I look for. The wars and rumors of wars and nation rising against nation. These are things that I look for as big signs that Jesus is coming to save me. So, I know this is a lot of news and a lot of, war talk and stuff like that. But you got to remember, the reason I'm watching this is I know that my God showed me that, war will break out. America will be judged. And I know that Revelations is war. Daniel 11 is war. And that's most of what the tribulation is World War III. So these for me, are the biggest signs to look for that Jesus is coming to get me soon. So if you're following me, you're on my channel, and I'm sure you've got that same idea. Most people aren't receiving information from Jesus or from God through the Holy Spirit that are telling them that some magic revival is going to happen. Most people who are real Christians and receiving dreams and information from God are receiving that judgment is going to fall. I just got through watching one of my buddies, a guy I really like, Rob R. on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed to his channel, subscribe to Rob. He's got great stuff, and he said he just had 2 visions, woke up from 2 visions the other day. I don't know how old the video was, but he said that he's seen writing on the wall, just like in Daniel's in the book of Daniel, and that judgment was going to fall soon. And God told him because it was about transgender stuff. Does that sound like your God, or do you think your God's going to send revival on all these transgenders? that ain't normally the word I use for it, but I think that was a little cleaner, more professional. So I'll follow Rob R there and say transgenders. But judgment's gonna fall on this place, guys. If you're a real Christian, if you know you know God closely, personally, or just casually read about him, he don't put up with this stuff. Judgment's gonna fall. So will this false flag incidents happen here with Syria and Damascus? Will the Ukrainian situation get worse? I don't know. I'm just reading your report I found, and I thought it was pretty interesting. And I enjoy Southfront's information. A lot of people take them very serious. And the information that they're sharing with you here is information that you can find other places as well. But like I said, be encouraged. These are signs that wars and rumors of wars and nation rising against nation, these are the major signs of the season, of the times, that Jesus is going to come soon. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about this. If a blood moon comes, blood moon goes. You don't know. Like it leaves you wondering. Like, well, this does just happen sometimes. It can be just a natural event. But when they start talking in every major news network across the entire world, that escalation between major superpowers, nuclear powers, is ramping up and up and up, and everybody's talking about war. There's no doubt about what time it is in the season anymore. If you have any doubt about it, you need to open up your Bible and see how God prophesied war. And how war is judgment, and God's moving his sword, and that's how he's always done it all throughout the Bible, and he'll do it all the way up to the end. So I hope this information sparks your interest. I hope you start looking into these military conflicts, these international situations, and start taking it serious, and start realizing this is your most major slap you in the face sign that things are intense and that Jesus is going to come get us soon. So if you're faithful with God, be excited that these are signs he's going to get us. We're going to see Jesus soon. How blessed are we? I was talking with a friend. How blessed are we that we know, inside that Jesus is going to come get you and take you out of this place. You know it. Thousands of years, people for generations have lived greater men than I am. These great men of the Bible lived and suffered and died, and they didn't get an exit or escape out of this wicked, miserable world. But we know inside that this is the time. Jesus is coming. How blessed are we to know that we're going to get out of here? Isn't that great? We've got to be some of the most blessed people to live in this cursed world, to know that we're going to get out of here. That's hope. I know it. And most of you people out there watching, you know it too. You know Jesus is coming. So be faithful and be ready. Be found watching and faithful, and your garments clean, because Jesus is coming soon. And if by some happens chance you're watching this and you ain't faithful, friend, you need to get faithful. These headlines should really shake you and wake you up that one day these bombs are going to drop, the power is going to go out, and where are you going to be left if you don't have Jesus? But like I said, I want to put this information out to encourage my Christian friends out there. These are the major signs that Jesus is coming soon. So be encouraged. Have a blessed day. God bless your family. God bless your ministry. God bless whatever fruit that you put out to support the body of Christ. And God bless your life. In Jesus' holy name, amen.